This video comes courtesy to from this, right? So you've probably seen me post on social media about the jackhammer vibrator and how every time I use it I have all these orgasms, like 55 and 82 and 79 and all of these things, and everybody in my social media comments are like, how? So because you're a subscriber, we get to talk about how. Now, I do want to start by saying that I talk about this a lot in the in-person female orgasm class. And so while I think videos and all kinds of interactive online education is so valuable, if you are ever in San Diego, I highly recommend taking it. In order to understand how to have multiple orgasms, you first have to understand the sexual response cycle. So we're going to back up and talk about that first. This is the sexual response cycle. Kind of. This was developed in 1966 by Masters and Johnson. There are many models that have come after it. I like this one. It's simple and it's straightforward and it works for our purposes of understanding how multiple orgasms work. So this is basically a model of what happens to our body physiologically as we're going through sexual response, meaning there's sexual stimuli to the body and how is the body responding to it. There are two things to denote here. One, this is a measure of time, and this is a measure of how much intensity there is. Now, what is being measured in the little bloop is a bunch of different factors. There's heart rate, how fast your heart is beating, respiration, muscular tension or myotonia, and most importantly is vasocongestion. My favorite word. Vasocongestion. Vasocongestion is how much the blood vessels are congested with blood, meaning how much blood is trying to pump through those skinny little tubes throughout your whole body. So it starts here, right? And I assume that this is where we all are right now, assuming no one's having an orgasm right now, then you're probably right here. Your heart is beating, your blood is flowing throughout your body, your muscles are at a normal level of tension, and you're just doing life, right? So everything's kind of down here. As time goes on with sexual stimuli, and sexual stimuli can be physical, so it can be kissing, it could be somebody biting up on your neck, it could be a back massage, it could be intellectual and psychological and emotional too. So it could be watching porn and getting visual images. It could be someone sending you a sexy photo or a text message. It could be just your own fantasy in your own mind. So whatever the stimuli is, what's happening here is you're going up in all of those things. So your heart starts pounding more, and this is making the blood vessels get more full, right? The vasocongestion. So they're getting more congested, and this is causing a whole bunch of things to happen in the body. This is causing, sometimes people get a sex flush, right? All pink here. It's because the blood vessels are dilating and you see more blood on the surface of the skin, so it might get pink. Nipples might get pink and bigger because more blood. Penises get filled with blood and become erect because blood is flowing in there. Same thing with the clitoris. It's filling the whole body is like, what? And we know this to be what? What's the word that we use when we understand hard penises and those feelings happening is arousal, right? Arousal. So this is getting turned on. This is getting aroused. And the body is doing all that. Now, what's also happening here in the vagina, also people use the concept of getting wet to mean being turned on. And so what's happening here is that the blood vessels around the vagina are getting so full that blood plasma actually seeps through the vaginal walls, and that's vaginal lubrication, right? So that's here. So we have, here we are to start, then we're getting aroused, and then we have plateau. So this is where we're like going through the sex acts, right? So this could be dry humping, this could be using one of these, this could be penile vaginal intercourse, this could be fingering, this could be hand jobs, this could be all the different things, right? So whatever, and then your body is like up here, much bigger and better than when you were where you started, but not this kind of like click, click, click uphill kind of roller coaster anymore. And then so what happens here? Can you guess what that is? That's an orgasm, yeah. So the orgasm is a reaction to all the stimulation. So there's lots of rubbing, stimulation, stimulation, stimulation. The blood vessels are full of blood, getting congested, and they can't take anymore. The blood vessels are like, we're done. So the muscles around the blood vessels start to clench and clamp and do these rhythmic these, very scientific, they're doing this, and it squeezes the blood out and back into the pelvis and back into the rest of the body. This, of course, triggers a whole body system. You know, you have the brain is doing stuff. It's sending out all kinds of feel-good hormones. You have the muscular tension, right? Because that's another measure of what's going on here. The muscles get tighter and tighter and tighter. So this is the O face, because people's body facial muscles contort into all kinds of like ooh-ah faces. And this is where people get grabby, maybe pulling hair, curling their toes, and all those types of things. So the muscles are like, the heart rate is obviously going the highest, the breathing is going the highest, is the panting, maybe some moaning and other respiratory type reactions. So this is again a measure of time and stimulation and how much intense it is. So the orgasm is the most of all of those measures, and then very quickly you see, you want to sleep, you want to be done. Now, so that is the sexual response cycle. So when you understand this, then you can understand how to have more than one of these. So let's talk about that now. When your muscles of the pelvic floor and anus and vagina and uterus and penis, all those body parts are doing this, you feel waves, right? You can feel pulses, might be a word someone would use to describe it, or clenches. You can feel those sensations. And so when people talk about having multiple orgasms, they usually mistake either one of two things about what I'm describing. One is that they think each one of those clenches is an orgasm. So they're saying, okay, you're gonna hear me say I had 55 orgasms the other day. They're like, so you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 55 times. So this is like a really long orgasm, and that is possible, but that is not what I'm referring to. Most of the contractions are about, you get 0.8 per second, so they're about just over 1 per second, and there's about 8 to 15 of them before it goes. So there's some wiggle room there, but that's not what I'm referring to. Or some people will be like, say for instance, you're, we'll use cunnilingus, we'll use oral sex as an example, right? So they're saying, oh, someone's, you're hanging out watching TV, ooh, your partner is kissing up down your thighs and getting sexy, you're getting turned on, and blood flow, dilation, heart rate, all those things are happening, and then tongue on clit, tongue clit, tongue clit, tongue clit, life is good, up, orgasm, clenchy, 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 clench, and then you're done, and then you like lay there and you're cuddling for a little bit, and then they start to, he or she is looking up on you again, and they're going at it, and da, 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 and then you have another orgasm. So they're thinking, did you do that 55 times? And also, no, not that either. So what I'm referring to is a third thing, and that is what the multiple orgasm is. So if you go through this entire cycle, going from here back to start is called a refractory period. So this is the period of time that it takes the body to kind of reset before it can go around again. Now the time it takes to get from here to here for people who have penises increases with age. So if you're somebody in your 20s, this might take 3 minutes, and for someone in their 30s might take 10 minutes, and somebody in their 40s may take 35 minutes, and on through life. And so for a person with a penis, if they want to have another orgasm, they would have the resolution where the blood drains out and the heart rate goes down, the muscular tension goes down, and you're back to an unaroused, unorgasmic state. And then you'd have to go through here, and then you'd have to start that again, right? So you'd have to get touched or aroused or thoughts that will make the heart rate increase again, and the blood flow to go open all the vessels again and congest, and heart rate and breathing and all of those things around. You'd have to do the whole sex act, hand on genitals, mouth on genitals, toy on genitals, whatever that looks like, repeat, stimulate, stimulate, stimulate to have another one. And there's really a limit physiologically as well as realistically with time and energy that anybody with a penis can keep going around and around and around with the cycle. We don't really know why, but we think people with clitorises either do not have a refractory period or it works in a different way. We're not really sure, but that is a different experience, and this is the multiple orgasms piece. If you've ever seen a penis at this point in its life, right, what's happening? It goes from very erect to very non-erect very, very quickly, because the blood that was in the penis keeping it erect, that orgasm contractions really like rushes it out, and the blood right back into the body, right? So again, we don't know what's going on with the clitoris. Either it kind of trickles out, so the blood, the clenching kind of dribbles it back into the rest of the body shortly enough to feel those powerful sensations, like it feels good, but it's enough that it doesn't fully empty. So right here, you could have the orgasm, let the contractions happen, then you get to this point, and instead of kind of slowly bringing the body down to rest, you could reapply the same stimulation that was happening here. And what that's going to do is kind of just fill it back up, and you can have another orgasm, and you can keep on and on and on. There's really no limit physiologically that we know of. I think really the limit is your time, and also like periphery type issues like your hand hurts, or like the skin on your labia is like too, like getting chafed from all the stimulation, or like your legs are cramping because, you know, when you have that muscular tension, right? The orgasms makes everything go like this, so you just keep doing like this, you feel like you've been lifting weights for hours, right? So it's some other type of situation that's making you stop, but the actual clit producing orgasm itself, we don't know that there's a limit. So how the hell do you do this, right? This is a part that is just, no one likes this answer. So you know, if you've been following me for any amount of time, that one of the things I rage against is that we don't have enough, in my opinion, sex research on female sexuality to answer these types of questions. And we can speculate as to why. Do people not care about female sexuality? Do people not want to fund this? Is it schools, universities don't want to put their name to it? Like, we don't know, because there is sex research and there is female sexuality research that is done. So why this orgasms, but they don't think it's important enough? I don't know. But we really have like almost no studies on the phenomenon of multiple orgasm. And yet it's a common question I ask all the time. So this comes purely anecdotally from my professional knowledge of what everything I just told you and more, and then my own personal experience and kind of trying to put the pieces together. I've been teaching the female orgasm class for 12 years. I've had over 30,000 people attend, and we talk and we share stories and people share their own stories. So I've kind of like informally put together this idea of how to have multiple orgasms. Try it. I've had hundreds of people over the years email me after taking the female orgasm class and saying this worked. So this is great. Of course, I don't hear from the people saying it doesn't, so we don't know if the data, we don't know. Long story short, go home and try this and see if you can figure out your own way, but here is the, here's what I've come up with. Let's use oral sex as an example again, right? So here you are. You're in your bed reading your book, and hey, things are looking sexy, someone's rubbing up on you, kissing up on you, and then they're going to be turning you on, your blood vessels are dilating, and blood is pumping to your whole body. Nipples are changing color and erect, clit is changing color and erect, face might be changing color, not erect though. Vaginal lubrication, blood plasma is seeping through the vaginal walls, getting wet, your heart rate is increasing, your breathing is increasing, and you're feeling pretty good. This is someone is licking your genitals, licking, stimulation's good. Finally the blood's like, I had enough, get me out of here. The brain's like, phew, good feelings, and the muscles are like, clench, clenchy. When you get here, remove head. Pull the head away and take a breath. Reapply head and have the tongue and clit action again. Now, you might be saying, no, it's too sensitive. Nope, that's, no, don't touch me. Feel that, recognize that. Ignore that sensation and press on, because this is where the multiple orgasms live, okay? So there's two pieces to this. If you go too soon, though, if you try and reapply stimulation here, that might be like more than just uncomfortable, that might be painful, in which case listen to your body. And if you try too much down here, then you may have missed the boat and you're done, and you're just gonna, there's not enough blood to come back from that. You might have to start over. So how do you find that sweet spot? People want to know. Tell me how long I should take a breath and reapply head. Like, how long is that? And I wish I could tell you to set a timer for 1.72 seconds and go again, but there is no formula. The truth is, in one of these 55 orgasm marathon sessions that I had last week, between orgasm number 21 and 22 could be literally 2 seconds. And the time between orgasm 40 and 41 could be 3 minutes. Or, you know, and anywhere in between. So how do you know when to go again? If there's no formula, there's seemingly no rhyme or reason, and each individual orgasm set is different and you're going 55 times, how do you know? And the answer is body awareness, right? So it's about doing the homework, and it's fun homework, come on. Doing the homework. Always best to try things like this with masturbation first. I did. I highly recommend you do. So you get a vibrator, and you do the whole thing. And then you turn off the vibrator, or remove the vibrator from your clit, and then reapply the stimulation. And again, you'll find either too soon, painful, too fast, nothing. And now mind you, this window, right, this is time, this window is very small. Like, it's not a huge amount of time. So just by doing this enough times, by chance, you'll land it correctly. And when you do, if every time you're doing this homework, you're being very present and you're practicing mindfulness, and we do have a bunch of mindfulness videos in the subscription service, so check those out if you're learning how to be mindful. Being mindful, being present in the body, being really attuned to all the different things that are going on. And when it happens, being very aware of what's going on in your body. How do you feel? What's that little twinge? What's that little sensation that I could never describe? I can't, there's no data. It's just, you're going to feel the feeling. I don't know, what does it feel like to be hungry? What does it feel like that you're about to cry, right? Like, I don't know, like, there's just a feeling you're going to have, like, you're going to have an orgasm, and you're going to be attuned to that. And so then the next time, you can be very clear on, oh, there's that feeling. And so sometimes if I'm doing my marathon masturbation sessions and I have the orgasm, and I'll be like, oh shit, like, time to turn the vibrator on again, because it was just happened to be like that. And sometimes I'll be like, oh, maybe I'm done. Oh, nope, there it is. Or sometimes it, you know, whatever, right? So it's about being clued in and being aware of your body. This is something that takes time, and it's going to take practice, and it's going to take patience. So I think going into this with a mindset of exploration, learning about your body, being kind to yourself, instead of like this goal of like, I need to have 50 orgasms, is going to be an approach that's not probably going to be helpful or serve you. Going into it with an approach of curiosity, and then you might, you know, very likely to surprise yourself very pleasantly when you have the multiple. So, multiple orgasms. Have fun.